Jess Hilarious.
Good morning.
It's Thursday, and today's show is all about Zen. So Charlamagne, light up the Palo Santos.
I do every morning, and my candles. I pray, and I meditate before I will leave the house.
That's right. Well, we have some special people joining us today. We have Devi Brown.
Come on, that's my good sister, man. Make sure you subscribe to the Deeply Well podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, man. That's my family for over 20, well, damn near 20 years.
Yeah, also Stephanie Okafor, she'll be joining us.
Love Stephanie. She is a prophet. And when she was here, she definitely spoke a word into us.
That's right. And also, I'm not sure if you know this person. Many people might, maybe not. Erykah Badu, she'll be joining us as well.
Come on now. See, you talking about people that I love.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't talking about people that I just respect and like. You talking about people that I love and worship.
That's right.
Salute to Devi Brown. Salute to Erykah Badu.
That's right. We're going to kick it with them in a little bit, so don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
So you better have the same energy.
We want to hear from you on the Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Yo, what's good? Envy is out of sight. Good morning. What's up? How you doing, Charlamagne?
Peace out of sight. You blind?
Yeah, I'm a blind brother, man. Yo, I've been listening to yours since your first came on the air. I've been rocking out with y'all ever since 2010, since December 6th.
Thank you, brother.
Wow.
So 14 years.
Yeah, I've been rocking out with y'all. You know, definitely, it got me through a lot of hard times, you know, listening to y'all. But to the topic of the morning, though, with being blind and dealing with, you know, this insurance situation and medical insurance, I'll tell you something that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Independence is one of the most important things to me, is being independent. And my insurance would rather pay somebody to come in my house as a home health aide and spend all that money to do that, when I could just get a simple device and put it on my glasses and be able to be independent and move around freely, right?
Wow.
It's called the Orcam My Eye Pro. That's ORCAM My Eye Pro, right? It's a gadget that my insurance won't pay for, but they'll pay more money to have a stranger come in my house who can't cook, may I add. You know what I'm saying? Come in my house and mess up my food and everything that I pay for my money for, right? So, you know, I've been a loyal listener to y'all, and I would love it if y'all would help me get that device so I could be more independent and move around more. You can hit me up.
How much? Hold on. How much is the device?
I don't know. It's like a couple of $1,000s.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Orcam My Eye Pro. ORCAM Pro. My Eye Pro.
Well, put your cash app out there, brother.
It's $Blind Faith 144. That's $Blind Faith 144. And my government name ends with 2 Z's, so you know it's me.
Blind
and I'm
Faith
excited
144.
Y'all see my video, Baby Mama Salute. I came and showed y'all my video, Baby Mama Salute. You was always saying I couldn't rap, so I kept getting better and better because of you, Charlamagne. So when I came out with the Baby Mama Salute video, 1,000 people went to check out the video. I like to rap and I like to do showcases, not because I want to be a famous rapper. I just love the music and I love hip-hop and I love Power 105.
That's what it is, brother. Have a good one.
I just contributed something to your iPhone glasses. What did he say?
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah,
it's Oricon, or whatever it's called.
Yes.
The glasses to help them see.
That ain't MetaQuest, is it?
I don't think so. Hello, who's this?
Good morning, people. Will calling from Jersey. Let me just start off by just giving everybody their flowers. Starting off with you, Envy. A lot of times you get overlooked there, but what you did for Miss Jones back in the day, when you pulled the collar when things was about to go left at the other down the dial, you don't bring it up, but she talks about it, and so you kudos for that, for being loyal to somebody that looked out for you.
I love Miss Jones. Salute to Miss Jones.
She's local. Her kid goes to DC, so she's out in the. You probably see her, on a regular basis. I'm not sure. Jess, congratulations on the kid. Just the second go around, and maybe some of the things that you may have not necessarily took for granted, but didn't just like totally get a chance to appreciate because it was maybe a little bit overwhelming. But embraced it all, man, from the smells to the sights to the laughs to the giggles to the poops and all of that. Because, you know, as you already know, it goes so fast.
That's right.
And, you know, it's a moment in time. And those two gentlemen beside you, they can attest to it as well. Even though they have more, every situation and every kid there's something unique to it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mr. Charlamagne, brother to you, in our culture, the greatest pivot of all time was probably Malcolm X. He went from one extreme to the other. Dick Gregory was another that did a phenomenal pivot, going from being a crash comedian, but then switching that into being like an advocate, a social justice fighter, and so forth. And your trajectory seems like it's on that path, so salute to you, and keep up the good work. Because you back in the day, you did have a lot of jerk juice on you, brother, but you kind of flipped that around, and I see a lot of the different things. Jerk juice.
Okay.
Pause. Thank you, brother. Yeah, you definitely should pause that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
I'm dialing.
Hey, what you doing, man?
I'm dialing.
Calling you.
This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed. 800-585-1051. We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, this your girl Bianca from Atlanta, back in the building.
Bianca from
What up,
ATL.
girl?
What's up, Bianca?
How you doing? Good morning, everybody. It's so good to hear from y'all. I got two things to get off my chest.
Go ahead.
All right, first thing, the grand opening for Bankhead Seafood, presented by T.I. and Killer Mike. Everybody keep asking me how was the food. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to try the food, but it was good to see the two brothers coming out, opening up their businesses, and having some opportunities for people like us in the community.
Absolutely.
Also, I would like to shout out my nonprofit. It's called Forever I Love Atlanta, spelled F-U-R, and we help people in the inner city who got pets, families, anybody who need assistance. We help to get those low costs of free. We do a lot of free giveaways. We support a lot of the AT-aliens like me who like reptiles and just who like the animal life. I used to be an animal control officer, so this is my way of giving back to the community. I'm looking to link up with other people and connect and be able to collab on some events. You can reach me at foreveriloveatlanta@gmail.com and hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Hello, who's this?
Hello, this is James calling from North Carolina.
What's up, James? Get it off your chest.
Yo, I was calling to see if y'all had heard this story. This Florida dude some years back wanted to come up with some money so he can get some concert tickets. So he goes online saying he'll do anything to earn some money. This guy hits him up and tells him he wants to hire him to cut off 3 of his toes, cook them up, and eat them. And he'd give him $4,000. And the dude tries to go through with it, but the guy that wanted his toes cut off ended up going back on his word and saying he can't go through with it. But he ended up paying the dude anyway. Y'all ain't never heard that story?
I never heard that story.
Never ever in life.
And there's nobody I want to see that bad to cut off my fingers and toes. I mean, nah. I'm sorry. I love Hove. I love Nas. I love Beyonce. But I'm not cut off my toes or my fingers to see anybody in concert.
No, he wasn't the one that was going to get his toes cut off. He was going to cut somebody else's toes off, and that person was going to pay him.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, and the dude was black, too.
That sounds like an episode of Criminal Minds.
Yeah, absolutely. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good one, and you need to do different searches on your TikTok and your Instagram. You're searching for the wrong thing, bro.
Oh no, this was on a TV show. This was on a TV show called It's Florida, man.
Oh, now that explains it. It's Florida. Okay.
Definitely sounds like Florida.
Got it.
Have a good one, brother.
All right.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
That's right. This divine being having a human experience. Master well-being educator. Want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Oh, she has many teaching certifications.
More peaceful the way you're saying.
She has many teaching certifications, including meditation, breath work, inner child healing, and spiritual psychology. She's an energy healer. She hosts and leads many spiritual retreats a year. She teaches and guides daily meditations on the Chopra app. She advises on well-being and teaches mindfulness for several corporations. She's an author of a book called Crystal Bliss, and she hosts a podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network called Dropping Gems. It's my good sister.
Hold on, and she has a 4-year-old that is taller than Charlamagne.
That is a fact.
Wow.
Debbie Brown.
Most important.
That's my godson. What are you talking about?
He's taller than you.
He is. The Quest is a big little boy. That is a fact. Yes.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Debbie?
I'm incredible. This moment in time is a lot, but it's also, there's magic in it for all of us.
People will say, what are you talking about, Debbie? There's monkeypox, there's COVID, we're in a recession, interest rates at an all-time high, but you still find the positive out of it.
Life is both. The human experience, we're always oscillating between these two ends of the spectrum, joy and grief. The viewpoint I have of it, and something I really had to come into in the pandemic, was the moments that feel like joy, I have to let myself feel all of it because life is hard.
There are times when people feel guilty too because they may be experiencing a lot of positivity, but there's so much going on around you that you don't feel like you can even celebrate that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, because that's what allows us to sustain. The thing we've all gotten so wrong about the human experience is like everyone thinks that the goal is always supreme happiness. And that if it's not that, then those are the periods of your life you don't really sit with or look at or talk about. But we need the grief. We need the pain just as much as we need everything else. So, you know, even in the midst of the moment of time we're having now where everything is crazy, I wake up every day and I'm just like, but how can I fuel my fire? How can I keep that internal oven inside of me just constantly going for myself, for my life, for my child?
Can we go back to like almost the beginning, right? Because when you think of Devi Dev, a lot of us probably know Devi Dev from radio. You know, I met you at K-Day in LA in like 2007, and you know, you were on Sway's show, but it's like you've always been this spiritually connected person. When do you like first remember that, like connection to a higher power?
So many things play into that. I think by nature, I'm an only child raised by a single parent, which is a certain kind of experience that kind of keeps you in your head a lot. So I think that was a piece of it. But I've always just been fascinated by transformation of any kind. Like I was definitely reading self-help books as a little girl. I was just so interested in what made people themselves, but also what kept people from becoming themselves.
Now, one time you decided to give this all up, right? You were very successful doing radio. You were in Houston. They were talking about syndication. You were talking about moving back to LA. And then you said...
You were one of the best radio personalities in the country. I mean, still one of the best personalities, period. But you were on the radio as one of the best personalities in the country.
And then you said...
Yes, thank you.
Phew, I'm done with this. Now, what made you say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore? What was the...
Tell the truth.
Why you say it like that? Why are you clenching yourself like that?
They need to hear this morning.
You know, it was a couple things. I think the amazing thing about the show that y'all do is you guys have established something so rare and different than has ever been, I think, in broadcasting. And you guys get to show up as your full selves at work. You get to have the conversations that matter to you. Where I was when I was doing radio, that had started becoming so closed off. You know, at one point when I was working in radio, I was able to have meaningful conversations. Like I went viral with Kanye, I went viral with Kendrick, talking about mental health. And then, you know, the powers that be, they just say, talk less. You know, where I used to have a talk break where I could really connect, to be like, do that in 11 seconds. I just felt like I wasn't able to use this gift of communication at the level that God really commanded of me, at the level that felt fulfilling to me. I wanted to have more adventure. Like at that point, I knew spirituality was the leading journey and mission for my life. And so I just said, I have to invest everything about myself into that.
I remember you telling me that, you know, years ago, you was just like, you know, therapy is great and I'm glad you're in therapy, but you need more than just therapy to transform your life. Like what exactly does that look like?
So even with therapy, there's so many different kinds of therapy. And I think a lot of people, especially now, because we're just so new to all of this, everyone goes to cognitive therapy, which is kind of like the standard talk therapy. For some people, that is actually not the best option. Depending on what you are coming to the table with, you may need somatic therapy. You may need all these different styles. But the piece about therapy is it keeps you in your head. It helps you understand yourself and the things that have happened, and it gives you the language to talk about it. But it doesn't always give you the opportunity to live this new knowing. At that point, it can be really powerful to invite in like spiritual practice or a self-care practice so that you are applying acceptance to yourself. You're applying loving to yourself. You know, it's one thing to know everything, but to know everything and still love yourself, to know everything and come into compassion for the people that have harmed you, it takes many different processes.
I want to talk about your Prime show, The Sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, Draymond Green on.
Yeah.
Now, in particular, so you're talking about the mental well-being and also being able to focus, right, with Draymond Green. Why, in particular, do you think athletes need to focus on something like this, and how do you think it helped them?
What I think is so important about that, not just from the athletic lens, but from the masculinity lens. Like, I think this is really a moment of divine masculinity, of men's transformative healing, of men's kind of awakening.
How receptive was he to this?
Like, so receptive. He came in, and it was just a joy and a privilege to work with Draymond, because he is so smart, so self-aware already. And he came in saying, and if you watch the show, Deepak asked him, you know, where are you at on an emotional level from, 1 to 10? And I think he said he was a 4. And then Deepak said, well, then you're suffering. And, he came into the experience like, okay, how does this work? Tell me X, Y, and Z. By the later part of our sessions when we were meeting, he was like, okay, so I've read this book, I've read this book, I've read this book. I understand it like this. And he was just really ready to feel things that maybe he hadn't felt before.
I want to get back to the sessions on Amazon, but I want to talk about the connection with Deepak, because I call you Tupac Chopra, right? And so to see you and Deepak actually working together now is like surreal in a lot of ways. How did that connection happen?
Oh my God. So it really started where I was burned out. I was working in radio like we talked about. I was in my 20s and I ended up getting shingles, which is highly painful for anybody that's had it, but it's also specifically something you don't get to like your 70s and your 80s. I had it in my 20s. And so this was like, 10 years ago, and I went online and I just typed in like detox, help, retreat, something. And the first thing that popped up was a photo of Deepak, and it was for his health center. And so I ended up going on a 10-day detox retreat. And it changed everything about my life. And I ended up doing so many of the programs that Chopra offered, which eventually led me to do their teacher training program and get certified in meditation. And so our relationship was really just growing and building. And when Chopra Global launched about 2 years ago, I ended up coming on board as their chief impact officer and leading some of their initiatives.
All right, we got more with Devi Brown when we come back, so don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Devi Brown. Charlamagne?
Yeah, what are some other ways to create healthy boundaries?
The first part is you have to become really aware of yourself and who you are. I think a lot of this boundary conversation tends to tilt into using boundaries as more of a wall. When I hear people talk about boundaries, even on social media, I think we have to really upgrade our understanding of why we don't have them to begin with. It's like everyone's like, no, I'm going to have boundaries. And anybody that doesn't have my boundaries, like, you're cut out of my life, and people don't want to respect your boundaries. And there's such this like harsh, judgmental view. And the thing is, the people in our lives that are trying to climb over them don't understand what they are either, which is why they don't even apply them to their own selves. So I think on the journey of finding boundaries, we always have to try to steep it in overall compassion and non-judgment. A lot of us are doing things for the very first time. A lot of us have just heard about boundaries for the very first time. And very often, if you don't have boundaries already, it's because different things happened in your life that led you to kind of disregard yourself in certain ways, or not think that you had the right or the worth to choose yourself first.
Are you born with boundaries and then they get torn down at some point, or we never have them and we have to learn how to build them?
One of the reasons that I most often work with and see in in our childhood, certain things have to happen for us to become the best version of our adult self. There has to be certain kinds of role modeling in place of behavior. There has to be role modeling of care, of understanding, of listening, of language. If we have experienced certain emotional neglect or traumas, big T or little t, it affects the way your core identity is established. Your core identity is established in childhood. That is the piece of you that isn't the roles you play, but it's the piece of you that thinks that you're worthy, that thinks that you have rights, that knows that your emotional life matters. If you're not given that opportunity to grow that in a safe way, you don't know how to set boundaries because you don't understand yourself, your own needs. You don't understand what you require.
And sometimes things bad happen to you or people burn you and then you're like, okay, moving forward, this is how I have to move.
Absolutely. And I think when that stuff happens in our adult life, even still, it usually comes down to an original wound that happened in childhood. There was something in the dynamic with the child and the caregiver or whatever adults may have been present where their needs were not looked at and you maybe had to please the person that was caretaking for you to get what you needed. And so then in your adult life, you find yourself repeating those patterns in so many different ways, in friendships and relationships and the jobs that you choose and the way that your dynamic with your boss and your coworkers is. Like, it permeates everything about your life. There is nothing more important than childhood.
So how do you base your circle now? Because there's going to be some people that are into the things that you're into, some people that don't care about it, some people that don't believe. So how do you keep your circle? Do you keep those people that are not in your circle, or do you set up those boundaries where it's like, all right, well, if you're not a believer, I'll wait for you to be a believer to be in the circle. So how do you go about your normal day?
I don't think people have to be believers. Like, I'm not looking to convince anyone, and I'm okay if we are not aligned in our beliefs. But I have to prioritize what is actually nurturing my own life. First, I would say this. All of us hold on to too many people for too long. There's not really the room for that. And so over the last 2 years, like, I've massively shed in my life. And some of them were highly intentional, like friendships that were misaligned because of character, because of integrity, because of choices.
So how were those conversations? Like, so let's say there's somebody in your clique you need to have a conversation with because they're not following the same journey that you're following. You just don't want them around you, honestly. So how do you have those conversations?
So if you're me, you just have them. I'm not taking other people's misdirected emotions personally. So if someone is upset in our conversation, that's not going to rock me. And I'm also not going to take on a lot of guilt about it. I trust that my choices are made in integrity. But, you know, you have to be direct, but you also have to know yourself to be direct in a way that it's actually healing and beneficial. Not, you know, when people use that term brutally honest or I keep it real. Real is relative. Your real is based on your life experience, and it could be completely fraudulent to someone else based on how they recognize real. So I think there has to be a certain amount of self-awareness in yourself before you have that conversation. And it's important to come into a space, if possible, of more neutrality so that you can walk away from something with lasting peace.
So as a friend, let's say Nick the camera guy, let's say, do you guide him first of what you think of being a friend? Like, hey, Nick, I think that you're doing this too much. I think you need to fall back and look at this. Or is it one of those things like, bro, you're not going in my direction, I gotta go?
When I started noticing that some friendships felt misaligned or non-reciprocal in the ways that were important to me, I just made a mental note and I told myself that I was going to slowly observe it. So you could do that in a way of saying, I'm going to give somebody 3 strikes or 3 chances. But I just started slowly observing and still interacting with the person, how the flow of our relationship was. How often did we talk? Were they able to show up for me? Was I showing up for them? And I just watched it over the course of a year. So I started just observing people from afar, noticing things, keeping mental notes. And then I really prayed about it. I set prayers, I set intentions around it, lead me to the aligned friendships and partnerships, allow me to remove with ease any friendships or connections that are not serving or misaligned. Once that was done and I started really saying, okay, yeah, that's not a fit. I just called people up directly and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about our friendship. I want to talk about our relationship. And I said, I just want to let you know, I don't have a lot of judgment around you or this, but I need to share how I'm feeling. I usually had supporting examples of, you know, this experience happened. this is the way it made me feel. What are your thoughts on that? Some people in my life said, thank you so much for telling me this. I felt something changing between us. I never saw that. I didn't even notice I was doing that, but you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. We were able to rebuild. Some people, it's just like, okay.
All right, one.
All right, for sure, you know, or F you, like, okay, but da-da-da-da-da-da. So I think walking into setting boundaries, walking into shedding people, you have to also walk in with a confidence of it's okay if I lose them. It's okay if they don't understand. And it's also okay if they blame me. None of that has anything to do with me.
You know, I thank God for you daily. I tell you this all the time. But it's just like our relationship, it's never been a time we didn't share information. It's never been a time we didn't have, you know, deep conversation. It's just like things evolved. It went from, yo, Charlamagne, listen to this Nipsey Hussle Bullets Ain't Got No Name, or arguing about Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? To read Deepak Chopra, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. Like, it just seemed effortless the whole time.
Yeah.
And is that what you should look for, I guess?
Absolutely. Like, and I love us as a case study of that because we've been friends for now like 15 years and we've seen each other at so many junctures of the journey. But what we always had was non-judgment. We always had an openness. We always had an ability to talk things through. And I think you don't want to just hold on to people because of a length of time or this like false sense of loyalty, which no one actually has a real definition for that word. Like it changes with everyone. You have to really look at like, what is kind of doing life with a friend? Can we go 6 months without talking because we're both in a different place and then come back together? I think we should be allowed to. But yeah, being able to kind of just evolve as equals at every step is what I look for in friendship. And I'm also okay with things not having to be that deep. There's some people in my life, I trust them to be themselves and I show up as myself and I give them what they can handle of me.
You don't pray about me every day. You don't.
I was like, what is Envy thinking over there?
I do thank God for you. I thank God for this whole situation. This situation changed our life.
We're openness. We're deep.
What happened?
I just want to know why. You never told me that.
You're projecting.
I hear your
don't
ego
be so
talking.
guilty.
That's what I hear. It's like I hear wounds.
You don't say it. Envy.
I hear wound. I hear wound talking.
Thank God for you.
He does tell you
Turn
that.
over. Let me see where the blood is. I hear wound talking.
All right, we got more with Devi Brown when we come back, so don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Devi Brown. Charlamagne?
Now, let's talk about how a person can build a daily self-care, like spiritual practice routine to start healing and changing their life. How does a person do that?
Oh, this is the most important thing. So you have to make it sustainable so that it actually becomes your lived experience and not just something you speak but are not acting or living. And so what you want to do when you're building a practice, first, identify how much time you have. I know a lot of people work really hard and have a lot of responsibilities. So even if only 5 minutes is possible, please try to gift yourself with this. But if you can be more expansive and spend 30 minutes, spend an hour, that could be really powerful. What you want to do is you want to build your daily practice around the 4 pillars of wholeness, which is mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. You want to find something to do every day that falls in one of those categories. For mental, that could look like journaling. It could be, wow, I noticed that I keep thinking about this one thought every day. It helps to build or reestablish your intuition, which is also something that a lot of people lack because they so often go against what their gut tells them to do. That's the mental category. Looking at the emotional category, that could be meditation every day. Really coming into a space of knowing how to be with yourself, how to meet yourself, how to remember all of who you truly are outside of the roles that we play in life, outside of the things that have happened to us. You look at physical, for some that's a workout, but that could also look like a daily stretch practice. That could look like yoga. That could look like remembering to massage your own shoulders at the end of the night because you're aching and you deserve your own touch. And then if we look at the spiritual category, that could really look like affirmations every day, speaking life over yourself. And let's take it a step deeper than, some of the ones of like, I am abundance or I am love or I am strong. Really call forward what you want to embody. One of my first affirmations in my healing journey was, I'm a precious child of God, leading from my heart center, working in mastery of my being. Saying that over myself every day changed me. So doing something every day that supports who you are and who you're becoming and who you have become is essential. It also teaches you emotional regulation, which means that every day you can go into the world as your true self and not as the version of you that's constantly reacting to things.
What does self-acceptance look like?
Deep surrender and deep trust. To accept yourself means that you are aware of all that you are, including the things that may be a little bit unfinished or the things that you may have judged. But to know that it all serves purpose. To have acceptance is to also have this trust that I may not like everything that's happening right now or that has happened to me, but I do understand and trust that it is serving a purpose I don't yet know. And so I am in acceptance of what currently is. Doesn't mean you don't want it to change. Doesn't mean it doesn't have the potential to change.
Is that the first step to beginning to love yourself? How do you begin to love yourself?
I think they're kind of both happening at the same time, but I will say, to love yourself, it's a constantly evolving process, but I think it does require that daily practice that I talked about. Loving yourself can't be related to how really you look, how other people are validating you or not, how they're treating you. It has to be like, I exist, and that's enough. And that alone is worthy of love.
The action I want to ask is like, I know we have a lot of people listening right now. They might have seen the sessions. They, probably listen to dropping gems. I want to do like a mindfulness minute. Like what's a breathing exercise or something that we could do to like just ground people right now in this moment?
I would love to. Are you guys all going to do it with me?
Sure.
Okay. I want to ask everybody right now listening, connecting to the sound of my voice, come into a relaxed state with your body. And I want to invite you to gently close your eyes. Let your spine feel straight and supported. Release any tension that may be in your shoulders. Maybe turn your palms upward into a state of receiving. Unclench your jaw if there's any pressure present. And now let yourself just stretch your neck a little bit from side to side. And now let's connect to our breath. First, begin to notice how your natural breath is feeling in your body. And now I want to invite you to take your right hand and place it over your chest, right at your heart center. And now just notice what that pressure of your hand feels like. And now we're going to begin some deep breathing through our noses. We're going to do some big inhales through our nose and then out of our nose. And we'll do this 3 times together. And what we're looking to do is take a big, deep inhale, slowly, fully, starting now, filling your chest. And really stretch, take in a little more air. And then hold the air at the top once it's in. And now as we breathe out of our nose, I want you to do it slowly and fully. And now we'll begin that breath again, in through your nose. Let your chest expand, your heart open, hold it, and release. And now begin again, in through your nose, and hold it, and release that breath. And internally right now, silently to yourself, I'd like you to repeat, I am calling forward my highest self. And I want you to think about something currently present in your life. It could be perceived as good, as challenging, but something that you've really been chewing on lately. Some dynamic maybe in your life, a relationship, or something you're excited about. And I would just want you to hold that seed in your mind's eye. And I want you to think about any nourishing or evolutionary choices or lens of perceptions that you can shift to around whatever this morsel is that you're chewing on. Is it about surrendering? Is it about an action step? Or is it just an observation, something that can be released? I want you to think of an intention around it. And maybe it is, my intention is to release this. Or my intention is to really feel all of this. Or my intention is to manifest this. And silently within your own hearts to yourselves, I want you to state that intention. My intention is. And now we're going to do a cleansing lion's breath, which is going to be a deep inhale through your nose. And then it'll be followed out by sighing it out through your mouth with your tongue out. And it'll sound a little like this. So we'll begin our inhale now through our noses. And release through your mouth. And now shake out your hand that was on your heart. Allow it to drop back down to the tops of your thighs. And as you feel ready, gently open your eyes.
I could have went to sleep just now.
And you know that experience that we just did? If everyone could start and end their day like that, we probably spent maybe a minute there, right? That is a daily practice, what we just did. That was breath work. So that's an experience that you can invite into your life to regulate your nervous system. Because what was happening internally as we did that was our body was able to come into the present moment. If you're under deep stress or you have had trauma, you don't feel present in your body. And so to just be able to settle into yourself and then to give yourself that nourishing breath that resets your emotional center, it changes what's possible. The thing about trauma, depression, stress, anxiety, it limits what's possible in your life because it limits the choices you make and how you view yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Devi, for joining
Devi
us.
Brown. Tell them where to follow you, Dev.
Hit me on Instagram at Devi Brown, my website, Devi Brown, and on Amazon Prime Video, watch The Sessions. It is an incredible, incredible documentary by Religion of Sports. Myself, Deepak Chopra, and NBA superstar Draymond Green.
And pick up Devi Brown's book, Crystal Bliss. Yeah, Devi was talking about crystals way before everybody else was. That book dropped in, 2014? Yeah, and make sure you subscribe to Devi's podcast, Dropping Gems on the Black Effect Podcast Network. It's so many, high-level conscious conversations on that podcast. So make sure you subscribe to that.
Black Effect.
Well, it's The Breakfast Club. It's Devi Brown.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Jess is on maternity leave, so Lauren LaRosa is filling in, and we got a special guest in the building.
The icon living.
Yes, Miss Erykah Badu. Welcome back.
Peace, peace, peace.
How you feeling?
How you feeling?
Exquisite.
There you go.
All right.
Congratulations on receiving the CFDA Fashion Icon Award.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
I have no idea what that means, but I feel like you deserve all the awards.
Well,
so congrats.
They say, I found out it's the Oscar of fashion.
Really?
So that award means a lot to people in the fashion industry and to us as artists as well. Creators who are.
I love how this smells.
Trying to, evolve our culture.
Okay.
So that means a lot to be recognized.
It's always felt like you had an effortless style. Do you really put a lot of thought into how you dress?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, and sometimes it's just grace.
Now, you said during your speech that this was an award that you wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
Was that true? That long?
Absolutely.
You said as a child?
Since, I didn't even know that you could get an award for that, but just wanted to be recognized for the canvas that I create when I go out. I mean, it's really important to me. It's my therapy. I can't leave without having my, like I said in the speech, it's just something that came with my head. It's a nagging thing. And sometimes when I don't try really hard, it sometimes gracefully comes together. I guess maybe because of my intention. The fashion gods gave me the keys out here in these streets.
You talked about your best friend who accompanied you to the award. Alfredo, and him introducing you to a lot of the fashion houses and stuff like that. Were fashion houses always like open and like rushing to support you and all of your creative ideas, or did you have to? Was there a fight? Because a lot of artists talk about it being a fight trying to get into the couture houses.
I was out since 1997, and social media was really the opening to a lot of these relationships because they could now directly get to the artists where they probably didn't know how to get to the ones that they wanted to feature before. The first person that reached out to me was Tom Ford. Tom Ford wanted me to do a perfume ad, White Patchouli, which was his natural incense flavor.
What year was this?
This was 2002.
Oh, okay.
2002. Yeah, so that's Tom Ford. And Tom Ford's from Texas as well, so we kind of formed a bond. I guess as I evolved my style, other houses or artists because it's really the creative director.
Yes.
Who is the person. He is the house at the time, because his vision is trusted most. And they started, kind of paying attention to, the gaudiness or the freeness or the hobo chicness. It's been called all kinds of things. Next was Roberto Ticci, and he was the creative director of Givenchy at the time. And that was my first full campaign. And he let me co-style with him and put things together. And I think it just, after that, I was kind of, I was on the radar for certain things. Definitely the page to go to if you want to know what's next.
Right. And how do you pick, like the other day at CFDA Awards, you were in Tom Brown. How do you pick which designers and which houses now you want to work with? Because I'm sure they're all banging. Like, you can do anything you want now.
Right. And I picked Tom specifically for this event because he's the chairman of the event.
Yes.
And he's also a very, very good friend of mine. And his art is just so amazing. So I thought, since I was being honored, I would also honor him by wearing one of his pieces. And I chose one from Runway, a really beautiful architectural shape, real pretty. And I said, but I need something futuristic, ancient to go on top. And I saw this AI. I think you saw this post this morning. I'm not sure, but I saw this AI rendering of this headpiece. And I reached out to the person and I told him, this is really beautiful. I would love to challenge a designer to bring this to life in the 5D world, 4D world. He said, okay. So I called a friend, Chris Habana, who does a lot of crafting, amazing jeweler. And he said yes, and he had 3 days, and he pulled a team together, and they did some 3D printing to try to really, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you remember where you were at when you got the call that you was getting the CFDA award?
I was at home, and my agency forwarded me the email. I was like, wow, okay, it's good stuff. That's good.
Did you immediately know what you was going with? Did you see that vision?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. This thing was 3 weeks away. I didn't know I was going to wear it tomorrow. That time.
You've done capsules before with people and collaborated. You ever thought about doing your whole line, like a full clothing line from Erykah Badu, from Rooter to Tutor and everything in between? And
I have thought about that. I had a chance to practice that with Marnie and Francesco Riso. We did a collab, Marnie and Badu, last year. A lot of things happened for me in fashion last year.
Right.
There were the last 2 years. It was my first fashion week. So that's when I really started to catch the bug. And I met Francesco because we went to the Met Ball together. And we drew up some things and talked about some things and had a capsule line that came out. And these sleeves are part of it.
The collab was everywhere.
It was?
What? Yes, everybody was in y'all collab in Marnie. That was your first fashion week?
Yes.
Oh.
Like you attending? Or like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, it was my first fashion week in 2023. Yeah.
Wow. And that was, so during that time, that collab is...
No, 22.
Is that collab the collab when you got to work with your daughter Puma too? With Marnie? Or was it a different...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how did that feel? Because like, okay, we see LeBron and Bronny on the court and they're like, but like this is your lane and now your daughter's coming into it and y'all are working with a fashion house. Yeah. How did you feel just doing that with her?
It was surreal. It was a dream, because Puma is such an individual person that I didn't know what direction she wanted to go in, and I still don't. She's 20, so she's kind of finding her way. And sometimes when your kid is an artist, they don't want to follow your shadow.
Yeah.
They want to find their own thing. But she was cool with supporting me and standing beside me. And she was like, Mom, I don't care. This is for you.
so would you do your own line? Do you want to do your line, or that's not something that's in your cards for right now?
Absolutely.
Would you have the time for it?
Oh, yeah, I would make time.
I saw online you were doing some interviews just after the awards and you were wearing some Jordans.
Yes.
Were those that was a Jordan Virgil collab?
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
it was
that's not true then, because they were saying it was like an unreleased collab.
It was an unreleased one, but it wasn't Virgil. It was Shoe Surgeon.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
People just give you like how do you get your hands on, people online were going crazy over the collab.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure out where, like, how you even got the shoes.
Right. Showed up at my door one day.
Yo.
I was like, yo.
All my fashion blog pages
Now,
are
these are
literally
the
trying
illest.
to figure out. Yes.
Shoot, y'all zoomed in on it and everything?
I zoomed in because I'm like, I don't even see any of Virgil's, like, you know, he has the things that he does where you know it's him. I'm like, I don't see none of that.
Shoe surgeons get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not going to say nothing about that.
What?
Okay.
Nothing.
What?
Nah, we'll tell y'all another time when the news come out.
That's right.
He said, how you feel about
That's
that? All right, we have more with Erykah Badu when we come back. Don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess, and we're still kicking it with Erykah Badu. Charlamagne?
Now, you've always been an artist that's sensitive about your You told us that a long time ago, but you said in your speech at CFDA that it's scary being an artist in the social media era. So how has social media made that critique worse, I guess?
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, I've heard my own kids be afraid to express and share their art. Erykah Badu kids scared to share their art and express themselves because the audience is so vicious at this point, and they have such a huge appetite for blood. And they want people to be disciplined and humbled and punished for their success almost. It's what it seems like. So that's why, a lot of kids are afraid to, share their work or share their art or feel like they have to come at it with some kind of armor on. And that armor doesn't allow for the art to truly express itself, in my opinion. So it's a scary time for art. We didn't have to do that. We didn't have to deal with that. You heard the few little comments and things, but those weren't strong enough to penetrate a strong person. But these things are now, because when people come at you in numbers, we've talked about groupthink so many times. It was a prediction that I made with Window Seat in 2010. Groupthink would overshadow art, and it is right now because people can. I think it's very smart to get at the channels instead of getting at the bloggers and the people. We see artists penalizing the channels themselves, and I think that's the smart thing, because that's what has to change. If there's no place to do that, then it won't be done.
I agree.
Does that make you hesitant to release music?
No, not me.
You haven't dropped in 14 years.
14 years?
It's been
2010.
2015.
2015?
When was the mixtape when you did I Can Make You Put Your Phone Down?
Yeah, 2015.
Well, that's 10 years.
Oh,
10 years.
That was the Hotline Bling.
Yeah.
But an album, you ain't put out an album since 20.
Well, one reason I don't have to is because I am a performance artist. And I've been doing that constantly for the last 30 years. 8 months out of the year. All year round I do it. So that's what I love to do. I only put out albums when I have something to say. Like I have something pressing to say or push out. But I have more than enough space to get my art out on stage. So it's not totally necessary to put out albums for me. Yeah.
I would just love to see the visions God has shown you. Because, like, if you look at your catalog, right, your catalog literally has predicted where we are now.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the stuff you're creating right now, how far into the future you seeing things.
Me too. I mean, I'm writing right now. I got a project coming out soon.
A full album?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I can't tell y'all about it.
How soon?
It's be biting.
I just got goosebumps though. How soon?
It's gonna be soon.
Like by end of the year soon or next year soon?
We'll see. It's an important one. It's a collab album.
Oh, you and another artist?
Yes.
You're not gonna say who are you?
You get Andre 3000 to rap again?
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
Just so y'all.
Wow.
Do I think he'll rap again?
I'd say, is this going to be the collab album that gets him to rap again? And also, you can answer, do you think he'll rap again?
And why would you say, is this going to be the collab album? Because you're assuming that it's him.
Yeah, I am. I'm asking.
You can assume whatever you want. But I don't know. I don't think he has to. He's speaking with that instrument. It's the same thing. It emits the same kind of thing. Yeah, the way he make us feel when with Bombs Over Baghdad is the way he makes people who are ready for that feel. It's the same thing. It's his energy. It's his air. It's his wind. I feel it. That's the rap, to me. He rapping to me.
That's true. I can see where y'all are twin flames too, because he was on stage, and there was one part of the show where he just started going, making all kind of noises, and the crowd was answering him back, and then he goes, I wasn't saying.
He presented you with your CFDA Fashion Icon Award.
Yeah.
On the way that, like, I know you reached out to him to have him present to you, and you guys had a conversation. He was saying
I did. Well, it was a kind of tricky thing. I actually reached out to Tiana Taylor because I think she's next.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think she has a really good grasp on art and fashion, functional art. I'm really impressed and inspired by her. But I asked her. I'd asked Andre before, but he didn't respond. And then they came back and told me after I asked Tiana that Andre said yes, and I had to figure out how to, maneuver that.
Yeah.
Because that meant a lot to her.
Oh yes.
So I want to tell her I love you so very much, and I'm so happy that we're friends, and I hope that did not bring a wedge between us in any way. But that's Andre 3000, girl. And
your best friend. You got to talk to people. You got to talk through people to get to him.
No.
Oh, you just said they came back.
My sister.
Okay.
Told me that he responded.
Got you.
No. Well, sometimes. It depends. How busy he is.
Yeah.
I'll follow proper protocol if I have to. Yeah.
As an artist, when did you realize that you didn't give a when you said you're going to do what you want to do? You're going to put out what you want to put out. You don't necessarily have to fit in the box of every artist. You don't have to follow the platform and say, this is it, take it or leave it. When did you get to that point?
In the contract negotiation in 1997, 95.
Was never a fair?
No. I didn't have to do it, and they didn't have to. I figured it was a partnership, and I was doing the record label a favor. I knew who I was. I knew what I was getting ready to do. I had a mission, and nothing was going to infiltrate it, not even my own fear and doubts. And I'm still on mission. The best work is still in me. And I have not accomplished whatever that is yet, because there's still this feeling of youth and greenness and growth.
When you look at other artists, without saying names, do you see it in them like they're selling themselves out? I know they're different. What made me think about it is, when J. Cole jumped into that beef, and he came back and said, this is not for me. Press people ished on him and said this, that, and the other, but that was his assignment, and you can't be mad at his assignment. And even me as a fan was kind of mad.
He was on mission, right?
He was on a mission.
Yeah.
He realized it.
I understand that. Sometimes I believe that, being on mission or your assignment is not always to do something heavenly and great and good. Sometimes it's to create some chaos so that you may shake things up. Fertilizer is put into a pot to disturb the roots. It's poisoning them, so they have to move. You can't really judge it. You don't know what somebody's mission is, because it all counts. It's all matter.
And you don't know what journey God got them on.
That's right.
I mean, you don't get Malcolm X without Malcolm Little.
That's right. You don't get Erykah Badu without. I'm trying to think of a street name. You don't get Erykah Badu without Butchie Knife Betty.
There you go.
Butchie Knife Betty.
That's my new moniker, everybody.
All right, we got more with Erykah Badu when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. We are The Breakfast Club. We're still kicking with Erykah Badu. Lauren?
Were there points, like Bag Lady? I was saying earlier in the room that I remember when Bag Lady, for me, started hitting differently, and I was listening to it and was like, ooh, I get it now. When I was younger, I was just listening to it because it was played in my house and I loved the song, but I literally remember that feeling. For you, were there points in your life where you had to be like, ooh, I get it, like I feel it, Bag Lady? Or like, was this song of service for someone else?
You mean feeling my own song?
You're feeling your, even before Bag Lady was created, maybe there was a time in your life that, created or inspired the song. When did you get out of the Bag Lady phase, and what did that feel like for you?
Lauren's trying to say she has a lot of baggage.
Recently, a couple of men have told Lauren that
she needs to heal.
We are not doing this with Queen, by the way.
A couple of men did that to Lauren. They said, I'll spin the block, but you need to heal. You need to work on yourself.
So, what y'all think about the two guys that said it to her?
They right.
I think they right.
She on a journey. I told her that was right.
She's on a journey, and the two men that you respect.
One of them I respect.
Told you that you need to work on yourself.
Yes.
As an insult or as encouragement and love?
The second one, I think it was an insult and deflecting. The first one,
it's all about the intention.
Yeah, the first one, I think it was like, he really cares. Like, that's why when he said it, I was like, okay, I hear you. And I'm in a point in my life now where I can do the accountability.
So does he need to work on himself as well?
Yes, he does.
Does he know?
Yes, he does.
Okay, cool.
Second one, really know. Like, it's
He really know he got to work on himself.
Oh, I don't even want nothing to do with that. Like, it's bad. But I asked that because, like, I just feel like as I got older and realized how much you do care, especially emotionally sometimes, it weighs into other things and it closes doors or it cuts off relationships or you just miss out on good things. And every time I listen to that song, I'm like, man, how did she know that people was going to need this?
You know, I was writing what I felt, you know, in my heart. And I did hear it later and I'm talking to myself, my future self.
Where were you at that time of your life when you were talking to your future self? Like, what was the transitions you were trying to make?
I think I was transitioning out of a relationship where I was not happy about it. Yeah. And realizing that I had to leave some things behind, some parts of me behind. So it felt like a funeral of sorts because you have a part of you has to die. Every time you evolve, you got to leave it back there. You know, you want it because it's familiar. And a lot of times we like to resort to the familiar, even if it's toxic. So you have to leave that corpse, that beautiful old you has to be left, and you have to walk forward and not look back. That's the hardest part, not leaving the people, but it's leaving your old ways and you.
You're also playing Lucille in the Netflix movie, The Piano Lesson. Were you a fan of the play?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I went to HBCU, Grambling State University. I was a theater major. I was a thespian. So we did a lot of August Wilson material, Lorraine Hansberry, and a myriad of black artists and playwrights. But we did do that play as well. And Lucille's part is very tiny, you know. But the most important role I played was composing music for the movie. Malcolm Washington, who is Denzel's son, is directing, and he called me and asked if I would put together some music for it. And I called my very good friend Daniel Jones, God rest his soul. Safe journey, Daniel Jones. He came and put some beautiful pieces together, 1930s, and I wrote lyrics over them.
Wow.
And they're used in the movie, The Piano Lesson. It's gonna be on Netflix.
Denzel, he's producing The Piano Lesson, right?
Yes.
Was he involved? Like, was he?
He was around, but he stepped back and let his children work. Yeah.
What do you learn from your children now that they're grown?
So many things. Like I told you guys, there are definitely improvements on my design. Puma is at a place now at 20 that I was 30 before I was at her level of understanding and emotional intelligence and compassion for people, integrity, discipline. Yeah, I was still a child, kind of, at 20. I learned a lot from them, and they aren't very judgmental, you know, so they just kind of go along with whatever I do. We never had rules. It was just do what I say, and they did that, watched me. You know, I never hid anything from them. Yeah, they're having their turn at showing me and teaching me patience and severity. Mama, you got to say what you feel what you say. Tell that. That's Mars.
They telling you that?
That's Jay Electronica, little girl. Mars. Yeah, they will. They'll tell me, hey, you can only be so kind now. And our favorite saying is a Kabbalistic saying, severity without mercy is cruelty. Mercy without severity is weakness. So we try to walk that line. You know, kindness isn't only being, you know, appearing nice. Kindness is also telling somebody to beat it.
Right.
You know, kind to yourself.
Now I seen the Beehive chased you a little bit.
Where's the Beehive now?
They're on Twitter. Where?
I ain't seen the Beehive in a long time. And I love peace. They don't know I like it. Love peace. They're my totem. We ain't seen them lately though. Have y'all?
I ain't seen that. You ain't seen.
They gonna tear me up.
Yep, you gonna see him tomorrow.
See him tomorrow.
I like the tweet when you said, Jay, you gonna let this woman in these bees say something, Jay? You gonna let this woman in these bees do that to me?
Say something.
I don't know why people take things so serious. It's just my sense of humor.
That's right. Yeah.
I love Jay.
When you saw the cover though, knowing that there is the inspiration, like do those inspiration moments, are you feeling like, oh my God, they saw what I was trying to do, they love it, they still doing it?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like, oh, that was mine? Like, don't bite.
I have to be very careful with this because my children are watching me and that generation is watching. And as much as we love our art. It doesn't belong to us once it goes out in the world. However, though you can't manage what people are going to do with the art, you can't manage whether they're going to duplicate it or do another interpretation of it or just enjoy it or use it as an inspiration. You can't manage that, but you don't have to remain silent about it. You can, if it makes you feel a way, you should say something about it.
My last question, I feel like everything you do is spirit art, like I said earlier. Is it even possible for you to do any type of art without divine energy being involved?
I don't think so. Even if I'm not aware of it, it's always involved. Yeah, something. There's something. I don't know what it is, but there's something we floating on that's giving us life, choices of some sort. Yeah. We're born. We're told, once we're born, our religion was here already, what we're supposed to believe in, the tribe, the ways, the haunting ways, what we worship, how we worship, how we learn, how we cook, how we dress. There's a tribe, and you learn that. Hopefully you go outside of that once you are of age to explore other things, because you want to see if that is true. And then now you're an individual human who's creative in spirit, and then you have to learn how to walk in that humanness, in that spiritualness.
And also, you can check out BaduWorldMarket.com if you want to get all types of things like the Funko.
We ordered the Funko doll.
Always sold out on there.
Yeah,
I know.
I've been waiting. Even since
we don't realize how big the fan base is. The reach is.
Oh, this is the figure that you created, right?
Yeah, this is the Funko Pop. And this is the called Tyrone video. So that we, I actually reached out to Funko to do this because I thought it was important for my kids to have these. They love Funkos.
That's dope.
And I surprised them one day and said, I have a Funko.
That's so dope.
Like, your own Funko? You? I was like, yeah.
You?
Yeah. Were you?
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, thank you again for joining us. We always appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all always supporting me.
Well, it's Erykah Badu. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
When I say something you may not agree with doesn't mean I'm mean.
Who's getting that donkey? That donkey. That donkey.
Donkey of the day right there.
The Breakfast Club, bitches.
You can call me the donkey of the day, but I mean no harm.
Donkey of the day goes to a Baltimore man by the name of Kevin Gross. Kevin is 46 years old, just like I am, but I clearly make better choices than Kevin. You know how sometimes people say, oh, you think you better than me? The answer is yes. Yes, I do, because I make better choices. Not judging you for anything you got going on, but you ask me a question. Oh, you think you better than me? Yes. Hell yes. Because I understand the strongest principle of growth lies in human choice, and I make better choices than you. And if you are currently enjoying this thing called freedom, well, you make better choices than Kevin as well, because he's in jail. Currently facing charges for allegedly shooting a 28-year-old co-worker on the side of I-95 this past Monday morning. Now, I know some of y'all right now are either at or on the way to jobs where you think you can't stand your co-worker. You believe you hate this co-worker with all your heart, and you just might. Okay? Just be better than Kevin. Okay? And the way you continue to be better than Kevin is simply by making the choice not to shoot your co-worker. Let's go to WBAL TV for the report, please.
Bond denied for 46-year-old Kevin Gross. He's facing charges for allegedly shooting a 28-year-old co-worker on the side of I-95 early Monday morning. According to charging documents, the victim called 911. When state police arrived, they found him walking along the shoulder of 95 with 7 gunshot wounds to the arm and torso. Court documents show he told police he was on his way into work and got a flat tire, so he pulled over on the shoulder of 95 just north of the Howard County line. When he got out to inspect the tire, his co-worker, Kevin Gross, pulled up behind him and got out wearing a mask covering his mouth. Quote, Gross told him he must have hit a pothole or something, but upon inspecting the tire, the victim could see the tire had been slashed. Gross then produced a firearm and began firing numerous shots, end quote. Charging documents reveal the two were assistant managers at Planet Aid in Elkridge. Gross had recently been demoted, and the victim told police Gross thought he had something to do with that demotion.
Kevin, you got the right last name, because this was gross. What a diabolical plan. The victim was on his way to work and got a flat tire. He thought he hit a pothole, but his tires had been slashed. Ooh, I wonder who slashed him. And then when he got out to inspect the tire, Kevin pulled up behind him with a mask and shot him several times, all because he thought his coworker got him demoted. Both of them were assistant managers at Planet Aid. Now, y'all know what Planet Aid is, right?
No.
Yeah, they are the organizations that collect the clothing donations. They got the yellow bins all over the place where you can put the clothes and shoes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they accept clothing donations in 1,700 locations.
Oh, nice.
Okay, in the Elkridge warehouse. You know what Elkridge is, right?
Yep.
Yes. They collect 15.5 million pounds of used clothes and shoes annually. Well, clearly Kevin wasn't there for the cause, so I needed to know, what are the perks of being an assistant manager at Planet Aid? So I asked ChatGPT, how much does an assistant manager at Planet Aid make? I don't know if this is 100% correct, but it says the average salary for a manager at Planet Aid might earn between $50,000 and $60,000 annually. Now, I need y'all to always keep in mind that my education is limited to a high school degree from night school. Okay, drop on the clues bomb from Berkeley High School, all right, in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. But if it's one thing I understand is prison math, and by prison math, I mean when you have to calculate in your mind whether or not the choice you make is going to be worth you going to prison. Okay, now let's do the prison math, all right? I'm making 50, 60 grand a year in Baltimore as a 46-year-old man. I don't know about y'all, but if I can afford to put some food on my table and have a roof over my head, I'm going to be happy. Okay, success is subjective. And if you're a free man, 46 years old, you can come and go as you please. You got a job, you maintaining. That's a good life. If you don't think it's a good life, go to a prison right now and talk to these brothers doing 15, doing 20, doing 25, some of them doing forever, and ask them would they trade lives with the free man making 50 to 60 grand as an assistant manager at Planet Aid. Hell, even if he got demoted, okay, even if he got demoted, the warehouse lead role at Planet Aid earns about $27.39 per hour, according to ChatGPT. That's almost 57 grand a year if you're working 40 hours a week. All I'm saying is, no matter how much I calculate this prison math, okay, I've done addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I tried to figure this out multiple ways, and guess what? It just don't compute. Okay, it just doesn't add up. The victim is in critical condition. He got shot 7 times. Kevin Gross is charged with attempted first-degree murder in Maryland. That's life in prison. First and second degree assault, Kevin Gross is also charged with. First degree assault is 25 years in Maryland. Second degree assault is 10 years in Maryland. And he got other related charges. Moral of the story is Kevin is spending the rest of his natural born life in prison. Therefore, the prison math ain't adding up. It's just not worth it. You have to calculate it in your head. You got demoted. You don't even know if this person you shot had anything to do with it. But even if they did, as soon as you started formulating this plan in your head, just think about it. I'm going to cut his tires. I'm going to shoot him a bunch of times. At some point, your brain has to say, no. This prison math ain't mathing. This is not a situation that's worth having to eat jail food for the rest of your life. Or having an inmate treat your bunkie like a bowl of cereal. So please, let Remy Ma give Kevin Gross the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. You stupid motherfucker. You dumb.
You got demoted. Take the L.
How do you get demoted from like a Salvation Army place?
That's
like
wrong.
a Goodwill place.
And what could you do wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know. But he didn't even ask no questions. He just assumed it was this other person and shot him 7 times. Now he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison for that? Don't add up.
We don't need to play a game.
And you also, I mean, we can if you want to.
What?
You want to play a game?
He from Baltimore. Please, come on now.
There's no white people in Baltimore?
Yeah, it's white people,
Asian people in Baltimore.
Come on now.
No Latinos in Baltimore?
No, but something that petty like that, like
she got a point.
Yeah,
Okay, you're right.
She got a point.
A clothing store. Then it's not even like a regular clothing store.
It's Planet Aid.
Yeah, like nah, he black.
Always do prison math though. Whenever you about to make a choice that you think gonna get you in some type of trouble, especially if it's involving any type of crime, just calculate it in your head. Is this worth the time you gonna get for said situation?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for that donkey today.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Jess is on maternity leave, so Lauren LaRosa is filling in. And we got a special guest in the building. We have Pastor Stephanie E.K. Okafor.
Thank you. It's
How
good
are you
to
feeling?
be here. I feel good.
She got a new book out now, The Power of Your Dreams.
Yeah.
I love a good dream book. I'm the type of person that I keep dream books by my bedside, so when I wake up, I can look and see what certain things mean. Is that what got you into wanting to write this book?
No, so I encountered God when I was 9 years old, and one of the ways that was so consistent was that he would speak to me through dreams. And it's interesting when you talk about, using like having books that tell you about symbols and things like that, because I think one of the reasons why maybe sometimes people don't even understand the fullness of their dream is because they pick it apart, and the whole dream is telling a message. So if you only pick it apart, you may not understand the fullness of it. But dreams have been so consistent for me ever since 9 years old.
That is a great point, because I never look at the whole totality of my dream. I find like one thing that stood out
it's
to
like
me.
a WebMD of dreams. When people like get books or go on Google and you're like, you only look at one thing, and that's one of the things I talk about in the book, where you have to look at it like a whole story, and to understanding each symbol, kind of like tell what is the dream really saying.
Now you said you had an encounter with God at the age of 9.
Yeah.
What was that encounter? What did he say? What was that conversation? What just enlighten us with what it was?
Yeah, so my father was murdered when I was 8 months old.
Oh, man.
And so I grew up with like a lot of anger. And I was like, man, God, if you didn't take my father, it was just another reason why I got angry again. But that day, literally, like I remember being in my room and I could feel like a presence in my room. And I go to my mom's room, she's up. So the moment I hop in her bed, she's out cold, like not moving, not responding. And I feel the same presence again in her room. And I was like, God, I'm like, if this is of you, cause wind to flow through my ankles. Out of nowhere, the windows are not open, nothing. There was like this wind that just flows through me. Because with my eyes closed, I could see a man sitting, but his whole makeup was like light. So then I removed like the covers of my eyes, and I see him with my eyes open, sitting there. He gets up, he walks over to my mom, and I start asking him questions because I thought it was God. And I was like, where were you when my dad died? And he starts saying something, I had no clue what he was saying. He walks over to my mom, he opens her hand, he puts like this piece of paper in her hand, closes it, disappears. She wakes up that morning, her pastor calls her, and he was like, hey, I was in prayer and I just feel led to tell you that there was an angelic encounter in your home. But he didn't know to the degree of what he was even saying. And I was like, Mom, I'm telling you, this happened. Randomly, the document we had been literally ripping the whole house apart for just shows up on the table. And then I'm like, wait, was that the document? Like, was that what it symbolized that they put in her hand? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I met God. And then I started hearing the voice of God. And he was like, no, that was not me. That was an angel.
What did the angel look like? Did it look like homie from the Crossroads video? Touching people between the eyes? Or?
No, it was, so he had like a human form, but the only difference, his whole makeup was light. That was, everything about him was like light radiating. So I couldn't even tell you how to describe his features because it was just light.
I was going to say, like, for you, it was a lot more clear, but like some people think they're hearing things, but it might not be clear that it's God to them.
Yeah.
How do you coach people through being able to let that voice break through and understanding it is God?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is the foundational element of it, right? You don't need to read the Bible for God to speak to you, but you need to have an understanding of his voice in the Bible so that you're not deceived by the voices you hear. And so when you have a good foundation of knowing the voice of God, even in his word, then when you begin to hear him or you see things in the book, one of the things I talk about, even before I get into the subject of dreams, are the different ways we experience God's voice.
The four primary ways.
Yeah, the four primary ways. So there's some people who they're feelers, right? God has emotions. The Bible talks about so many types of emotions, peace, love, anger, all these things. So there are people that you might walk into a room, there's a deal on the table for you, everything checks off, but then you're not at peace with it. Something is like messing up with you. Like, I don't think this is for me. The problem is that if we don't have a God consciousness about life, we think it's us feeling that way. Yeah. But the Lord is trying to share his emotions with you, like, hey, I'm not in that. It might look good on paper, but I'm not in that. So those are people that feel. There are people that know. There's some people that just have an instinctive knowing. And for many, that is more heightened when you're a kid. There's a beauty with being a child. Your intelligence is not in the way. The older we get, our wisdom blocks us from discerning the voice of God because we're trying to, outthink it. We're overthinking it rather. Like, where did this come from? Where did that come from? And then there's the hearers. There are people who, audibly, it's more rare to hear the voice of God audibly now, but he also speaks in the form of thoughts. So there are these distinctive thoughts or series of thoughts that you would really like hear in your head. And it has nothing to do with how you would naturally think,
how you would naturally think about a matter, the same way that anxiety has a voice, pain has a voice. The Lord also speaks to you through your thoughts. And then there's seers, and that's where dreams come in.
For me, I remember when my wife's father passed away, right? And it was the weirdest thing. We had balloons downstairs, and it was her birthday, and my wife out of nowhere just started thinking about her dad. And I don't know if this was whatever it was, but out of nowhere, like midnight, 1 a.m., the balloons that were in the kitchen actually blew up the stairs and came into the bedroom.
Were they helium
had
balloons?
to leave that house.
Were they helium balloons?
Yeah, they were helium balloons. Yeah, of course they would rise. You would think they would rise. No, let me finish.
No, but to go right up the stairs.
But to go up the stairs and into the actual bedroom.
Don't be discounting his experience with God. God speaks to Benjamin too.
But it could have went to any one of the bedrooms in the house. It could have went to.
It went right to the bedroom.
You know what? See, this is why I don't like talking to him.
No, I believe that was a sign. I believe that was him. I really do. I'm not doing it. It just sounded.
Was it helium? Yes. No, but it was out of my house, out of anywhere those balloons could have went. And the fact that she was talking about her dad and crying over him several hours earlier just made me feel like, damn, there are signs and there are angels. So how do you, I guess, break down different dreams, and what do the different dreams mean?
Yeah, so in the book I talk about just different types of dreams, because the key thing, even before you get into that, is to know why we dream, right? Dreams can come from different places. A dream can come from you, a dream can come from God, a dream can come from, the enemy. But when it comes from God, God has a desire to speak to us more than we even desire to hear from him. Because regardless of where we find ourselves in life, regardless of how successful we perceive ourselves to be, regardless of all the things we have going on, we are first his creation. And there's something there. Your life is not random. He desires to do life with you. He desires to partner with you. And so there are types of dreams, like especially when people see their loved ones who had passed on, those could be encouragement dreams. Now, how the dream is presented matters, because when someone passes away, they lose consciousness of the physical realm, but that does not mean that who they are, their essence is gone, right? They're transitioning to a different life, whether that's with the Lord or, the opposite. Nobody wants that. but they're transitioning now to like an eternal life, in the spiritual realm. They're not fully just gone, who they are, the core of who they are, that their spirit, man, is still with him.
All right, we have more with Pastor Stephanie Okafor when we come back. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. And we're still kicking it with Pastor Stephanie Okafor. Talk about, if you feel comfortable, about the time you went to the doctor and God told you something different than what your doctor told you.
Oh, that happened to me. So when I was pregnant, I have a daughter. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I started experiencing like a lot of pain. We go to our OBGYN rather, and he's like trying to, even confirm the pregnancy. And he's like, man, I don't see a pregnancy here. I just see some things that does not look good. Like, you need to go to the ER. So we rush to the ER. They tell me that I have like these fibroids that have gotten really big because of the pregnancy and the blood flow going like to the womb. So they, we share the results with the doctor, and he literally calls me. He was like, because of the size of these fibroids, because of the location of these fibroids, you need to terminate the pregnancy. And you need to terminate this because from his analysis, the baby won't have room to grow, and the fibroids could cause, and even if, we take the baby to term, the bleeding is going to be too excessive. And he called back to back. He was like, I'm telling you, you need to terminate this and try again. Let's terminate it. Let's take the fibroids out and try again. And so I remember, like, I'm still in a lot of pain, and I just, like, I'm praying and calling out to God. And that night I have a dream, and the Lord comes to me and says, there are two key things. He says, no harm is going to come to your child. And he hands me a Bible. And when I woke up, I knew that the Bible was represented, stand on my word. So then I started opening scriptures that spoke about healing. And I'm like, okay, God, no harm will come to her. And this is what your word says about healing. And so I got another OBGYN because I'm like, God has shown me like no harm is going to come to this child. And the other OBGYN, she was like, I'm going to be optimistic, but I'm going to tell you there is a scare and a concern. So we need to get a specialist doctor, involved, and we need to watch this carefully. All of a sudden, everything that was a concern started being reversed. So initially they're like, we don't know if you're going to have room for this baby to grow. The doctor is like, oh, you got room for two. You know, but the key thing is getting that word from God. And I believe that's why in the busyness of our lives, God still finds that place when we're sleeping to speak to us and show us, like, I know everything in your world is telling you this is not going to work, but I'm showing you that I'm with you.
You talk about in the book about how the Bible and science talk about the benefits of getting good night's sleep. What break that down? I never heard that from the Bible perspective.
Yeah, because biblically, you know, we are body, soul, and spirit. And I think so many times, even in like Christianity, we only focus on like, you know, the things we got to do, like the spirit realm, the soul realm, but there is like your body. And in order for, you have to be a good steward over your body. You know, you have to, there are things that even as believers is just as important as eating well, just as important as working out, because the body is the vehicle, is the thing that carries your spirit, is the thing that embodies your soul. So if your body is not healthy, that's not good stewardship. You know, so when you're able to get proper rest, and there's such a connection between, you know, science and even, you know, our spirituality, because from a scientific standpoint, when you don't have enough rest, you have brain fog. That affects your ability to even remember your dreams. Because when you wake up and you come out of this place where you had an encounter or X, Y, and Z, your body needs to be healthy enough to process what was just deposited. And so if you're not getting enough rest, it's very similar to, you know, a computer. Like if you only allow your computer to die every single time, it causes memory loss over time. Same thing, if you only go to bed when you feel like shut down, like you're completely exhausted and you just crash, it's harder for you to remember your dreams, because that also affects memory loss. You know, when you're waking up from those moments. And so being a good steward is looking at every part. Even the Bible talks about you prospering, you know, in all things, right? Not just in your spirit, but in your soul, in your body. So there's a scripture that talks about bring your whole body, your whole soul, and your whole spirit blameless before God. So he's after everything. That be a good steward, because it all connects.
This like the conversation with you about dreams in the book feels like how people go and get like, can you read my palm? And can you, but it's, I know it's different. And growing up in the church, my grandma, she don't play that. Like, we're not allowed to do that type of stuff. But then pastors will prophesy to you. Why can we do one thing but not the other?
That's a great question. So when you look at the spiritual realm, just like in life, right? There's good, there's evil. The spiritual realm, there's good, there's evil. So it's just like if you're praying, let's say you're praying for envy, right? And you're like, God, what are your thoughts about envy? And then the Holy Spirit might start showing you things about him.
Ciroc, baby oil.
Envy, that is not your portion. Charlamagne, get it together.
This is what I pray. When I pray, this is what God shows me.
Envy, this is not. No.
But you also got to figure out, like, when somebody's being evil or they joking, like, because he would pray for her eyelashes, right? And it's to the point where it's like, you just joke too much. There's no baby oil with me. Continue on. We're being serious.
No, none of that.
Too much. What's wrong with you?
But the beauty is, it's coming from God, right? And what comes from him, it's for your good. And first of all, it is the source that you can trust.
Right.
Because it's the source that created you. It's the source that knows your life. It is the source that is for you. When you go to someone reading your palms, a tarot card reader, a psychic, the source is demonic.
Question, you know, when people do pray, is some of the prayers frivolous? Like, for instance, like if somebody prays for their team, right? Not pray to be healthy or to be safe during the game, but pray their team wins, or Lauren prays for a man, or Charlamagne prays to be a little taller.
I've never prayed for that ever.
Like how do those type of prayers work when it comes to it? Is it one of those things where write it off, or is it one of those things to honestly to pray for things that, like, I pray that the Giants win next week? That's not a real prayer, or is it?
No, I think wherever, God is so kind. Doesn't mean that just because you're like, man, I pray the Giants win, and guys are okay, the Giants are going to win. But as you grow in God, you start to understand that, you know, the power of prayer is when you pray in alignment with his will. But you have to first know his will, so that takes maturity, right? But when you're still in that, like, you know, stage of being like a baby, there are random things you can ask, and sometimes he will do some random things just to show you he hears you and he loves you.
How can they follow you, Stephanie?
No, I'm on Instagram, Stephanie Ike, IKE, and then I have a YouTube channel, Stephanie Ike Okafor. Yeah, TikTok, Stephanie Ike Okafor. Yeah.
You preach at Torah and Sarah Church?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
What's the name of that church?
And
One church.
One church.
and the name of the book and where people can get it.
The Power of Your
Dreams.
Dreams, and it's available everywhere
A guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep.
while you sleep.
All right. Well, before we get up out of here, let's close on a prayer.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for just everything you've done in this moment, Lord God. We thank you, even in talking about this book, because it's really not about just getting a book out, but it's really about getting people to be awakened to knowing that you speak and you desire to speak to them, whether they're awake or whether they're asleep, but even the power of their dreams. Many people are ignoring their dreams in this time, and there are words you're trying to alert them about. There are warnings you want to make them aware of. There are ways you want to prepare them. There are ways you want to encourage them. And so, Lord, I just pray that you will continue to be glorified in and through everything that we do. We love you, Lord. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Pastor
y'all.
Stephanie E.K. Okafor.
Yes,
All right.
come on.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Thank you.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. It's time for Jess Fix My Mess. All right, we got Stacy on the line. Stacy, good morning. What's your question for Jess?
Yes. I got like a little. I'm a lesbian. I'm gonna start off saying that. I share.
Say it again. Say it again, babe. You're on what? You what?
I said I'm a lesbian. I
Okay.
share a child with a woman.
Okay.
So that's like baseline of why I'm asking this question, right?
Okay.
Like we co-parent good. She was my high school sweetheart, but I got a current girlfriend. And the only reason me and her broke up because she cheated on me. But I have a current girlfriend, and like whenever we talking or whenever we going over anything, she always bring up my current girlfriend. Like I don't want to be conflicted on arguing with her. She like, you always getting defensive. Like it's not me being defensive, but it's like a conversation that we don't need to have every time we talking about anything. Like we could be talking about what our child ate today, and it's like, well, did your girlfriend cook anything? Well, did your girlfriend do like? I don't even understand why she's even being brought up right now.
You don't understand why she's being brought up?
Trying to argue.
Yeah. So to be honest, you don't understand why she's being brought up?
I mean, she says she's not mad. She says she don't care. She says she's not jealous. But
Okay.
in reality, 1 + 1 = 2. But at that point, how do I deflect from the conversation every time?
Then listen, that you keep it text only. That's just it. Like if you can't stop talking, because obviously she's not over you. If we can't have a conversation about our child where you're not implementing the fact that I have a girlfriend or anything, like you're bringing her up, then we just will not talk verbally. We'll have to talk through text. Like lay the ground rules down. Are you over her?
Yeah, I'm in a whole nother relationship.
That don't mean a damn thing. But are you? So you over? It does not, girl. You know. All right. So is your ex in a relationship?
No, she hasn't been in one since she cheated on me.
See, so obviously, so she's not over you. She's obviously bitter.
To my knowledge, I don't know. Maybe
Right.
she has, but I don't be in her business like that.
Right,
so
right,
I
right.
wouldn't know if she's dating or not dating. But what
I
she
got you.
Put forth to me, she say that she's not dating. She ain't been with nobody. She's celibate.
That's because she all that is trying to get you back. Listen, you know how many guys and told me, yo, I'm celibate, yo, like I'm just trying to get you back for real, for real.
What
You know
about
what I'm saying?
guns,
That's just.
She's not trying to get me back because she say I'm toxic.
Listen, and studs love toxicity, okay? A lot of people love toxicity. So that's just what it is. Your baby mother's not over you. Your ex is not over you. She's not. How you can move forward with that is just lay the ground rules. It don't matter. Listen, I'm not going to keep talking to you if you got to bring up my girlfriend in our verbal conversations. It's not. We can do text only. We can still co-parent, but we will co-parent through text, email, whatever, until you get the point. I don't want to hear about my girlfriend from you. And me being in a relationship, that shouldn't be a problem because we're not getting back together, whether you celibate or not. You just still the mother of my child. That's it. That's all we got. That's it.
It sounds good.
She's scared to death to bring that back to that stuff.
I didn't say this. I didn't say this. It sounds so good. It sounds so good.
Nah, what it sound like? No, it do sound good, but what it...
I told her, like, I'm about to be on the radio. Please tune in because I need somebody else to, like, voice it over because it got to be...
No. What it sound like... No, listen.
Like,
what
not
it
jealous,
sound
I
like?
don't want you and all
No,
this. Like, okay,
listen,
well, help me
listen,
help myself, 'cause
listen, girl, shut up. No, listen. What it sound like to me is you like that attention from her. Listen.
No, I don't. It's messing with my
got
relationship.
It's messing with your relationship, but you gotta put. Ain't no gun in your head making you talk to her about that. It's about the child. It's text only. It's email only. Whatever. Get a restraining order if she bothering you like that.
No, she don't bother me like that. Like, we co-parent. How we gonna co-parent with a restraining order?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But so it's just a verbal for you. You don't like her bringing up your girlfriend. You tell her that.
Yeah,
so
I don't like her bringing her up.
Yeah, so that's what you do. You make it a text only situation where that's it. Because you entertaining it still at the end of the day. Like, you still entertaining it. All right, now you can't control what come out of your ex mouth. No, you can't. But at the same time, baby, it's not that hard. I'm telling you, it's not that hard. Like, for you to not talk to this woman and still co-parent. It, like, verbally. That's just what it is. Like, nah. This is about the baby.
Okay.
Because you can ignore certain things in a text. You can ignore certain things in a conversation. But it gets to you more when you gotta hear it. You feel me? Like, just... Yeah, talk about what you want to talk about in the text. That's it. When she call you, you get a phone of the baby, take the phone back. All right, she love you. Hang up. That's it. Especially if it's affecting your relationship. Stop entertaining that.
Okay, and I have one more thing I want to say, and this is it. And I'm gonna just leave y'all alone.
All right, well.
I saw y'all last year at y'all podcast, and Jess, you look amazing in person. I just want to say that, and I love you.
Don't be
and
trying to be gay with me, but thank you.
You said what? I'm sorry.
I said, don't be trying to be gay with me, but thank you, girl.
I'm not. No.
I'm messing with you.
I seen your act on the show. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you. I don't know. I saw you on stage and stuff. I got it in my phone.
She's shooting a little shot.
Hey, yo, your girlfriend gonna whoop your ass, girl. You got.
I know. I just said, let me stop.
Well, thank you, Mama. Jess Fix My Mess. 800-585-1051. Call us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. It's time for a positive note. What we got?
And the positive note is simply this. Nothing that's for you will require you to act out of character to get it. Always remember that. Absolutely nothing. Have a great
Breakfast Club, bitches!
Y'all finished or y'all done?